All right, happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to another campaign kickoff call. I am joined by none other than Lee Atkins, who has been living in the support world for the last 10 days, coming out for a breath of fresh air to join us for campaign kickoff
A
call.
little snow
Welcome to
break.
the call, Lee.
Thank you, sir. Take a little snow break here in Atlanta, but we're back to green.
I love it. I love it. All right, so um, let me set the stage here before we dive into this. Every week we host this call, and we'll have anywhere between 100, 200 people show up to this call. A lot that will watch the recording afterwards. It's an opportunity for us at Listing Leads to walk through the marketing plan this week. Now, what I will say for the month of February is we're now to the point where like the end of January, early February, going into March is such a critical part of the life cycle of our kind of our year because so many of the decisions to hire an agent for May, for June, or even late April, as an example, are made right now. And I'm a big believer in this idea that your job as an agent is to make sure everybody knows that you exist. And so much of that is predicated on you just being wildly consistent, even when things are a little bit slow or things are you're running around a little bit crazy, you got a lot of things going on, is to sort of be wildly consistent with your work. I saw a great quote the other day, Lee, on this, and I think it kind of speaks to how I think about business as a whole, which is this idea of emotional resilience. And there's a woman by the name Brooke Castillo. My wife attends her like life coaching school, and she goes, emotional resilience is allowing yourself to feel the emotions, but not letting it dictate your actions. And I think right now, when it comes to marketing, maybe you had a tough weekend. Maybe a deal fell through. Maybe there was a buyer you've been working with for a while that all of a sudden started ghosting you. Maybe you lost that listing appointment that you thought for sure you were going to get. All right. This is what Mark Andreessen calls sort of the life of being a founder, which is there's only two emotions, euphoria and terror. Like maybe that's what you felt. And now you got to kind of pick yourself back up. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're riding high. You just been like you literally got three deals that are on the fence that finally came through, and like things are good. You can let us know in the chat right now. Kind of where are you in the startup life cycle? Are you in the euphoria stage, or are you in the terror stage right now? Let us know in the chat right now. Just put an E for euphoria and a T for terror in the chat. Either way, Lee, marketing cures all problems. And by the way, look at Shelly. T, love it. David, love it. E. I mean, it's always a mixed bag. I can ask you
Appreciate
in
it.
an
You guys are
hour and that
real.
number would change, right?
Right.
And that letter would change. So what we want to do is we just want to be wildly consistent. So Lee, why don't you make sure that we talk a little bit about the campaign kickoff, and I'll get ready to share my screen here. But what is our goal for campaign kickoff? What are we trying to achieve with these calls every Monday? And then I'll get ready to get into the content today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to come together on Mondays and run down the plan, run down the strategy behind it, but more importantly, give you kind of some tips and tricks to execute it. This is really your time to spend time with Jimmy and I executing your marketing or thinking through your marketing plan for the week, and press and go. And as you know, at Listing Leads, we provide great content for you.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is getting that content out to people, out to your followers, out to your email list. So we're going to run down the weekly plan, which basically involves some consistent email marketing. There's usually a lead gen component to it. And often Friday is some sort of Instagram post or long form YouTube. But we'll dive into that and walk you guys through it.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so basics 101 here. As always, you just log into listingleads.com. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the listing attraction plan. Now, I like to take it from the top every week without fail. You guys know this. All my OGs on the call know that we're going to cover the things we cover every week and give you some behind the scenes insight and how we're thinking. But this is important. This is like where that consistency really creates separation. So you log into listingleads.com. It's listingleads.com/plan. Once you're there, you're going to click on listing attraction plan and you're going to see this week's plan. Now, we start off every single listing attraction week with the deal of the week. Now, we always mix it up though. This is important. We always think about marketing in three buckets. Number one, it is how do I engage the existing people in my database? This is people who follow me on social media. These people in my email list. This is people in my CRM. Number two, how do we convert those leads? And I'll talk about a sales script that we wrote this week that you can use for your power hour and your prospecting. And number three, how do we grow our database? How do we grow our audience? So think about it in the context of engage, convert, grow. Every week without fail, as your chief marketing officers, we want to engage your database, we want to convert your database, and we want to grow your database. And if all three of those things are happening consistently, then what happens is you get results. Okay, so deal of the week. You're seeing this probably all over social media. We could not help but create our version of this. This is taking a social media kind of trend, which is putting words and text on objects, whether it's billboards, bus benches, napkins, notes, billboard, or in this case, like a Starbucks cup, as a way to kind of grab people's attention. So we created the deal of the week Starbucks cup edition. Again, novelty. We're trying to sort of news jack here. Novelty matters. So the way deal of the week works is you identify the hottest deal in your market that week. We generally like to say the home that's getting the most attention on Zillow, that has the most views and saves. Then you create a very simple hook. Hey, this is the best deal. Here's some details. If you want to get more information, comment below. Engage with me on this poll. Reply to this email. As you can see here, this is what the deal of the week Instagram story would look like. Now, you could definitely do this, Lee. To be clear, you could definitely do this as a Instagram post, not just a story, but we do have it included as a story as well. If you wanted to go a step further, you literally could write it on a Starbucks cup for real if you wanted to. If you wanted to do it yourself, if you wanted to be anti-AI and just do it yourself, by all means, go for it. If you got good hand penmanship, like do it, right?
Hand deliver some coffee. It'll be worth it.
That's it. Hand deliver some coffee. I love that. And actually, can I just say one thing, Lee? Everybody knows. I'm gonna come back to the deal of the week in 1 second. The best advice I heard this week, because everyone knows for me, like my job here is to synthesize all the best marketing ideas, all the best sales ideas, all the best business ideas, synthesize it in a really easy to understand way for our community. The best advice I got this past weekly, and I thought this is brilliant. I think our community would love this. This is a guy who's built this business installing garage doors. He built up to, I think they're doing like $1.5 billion in sales, something crazy, which is obviously unheard of for garage installations. And you know what he does? He says, and he trains his entire staff to do this. He goes, if you've got an appointment, so I'm coming to Lee's house to install his garage, I will make sure that 30 minutes beforehand, hey, Lee, Jimmy, I'm coming by your house in 30 minutes. Just want to check in. I'm actually stopping to grab coffee right now. Just want to check in if you want anything. Let me, and they're usually like, no, I'm good. Like, no, but no big deal. Just tell me your order. And like, all right, yeah, black coffee, unless it's an embarrassing order for a dude, yeah, give you a black coffee and then add the whipped cream and sprinkles and cinnamon powder at the house. But like such a brilliant idea. And I just want to share this with the community, totally unrelated to today's plan, is before your appointment, call and say, hey, I'm stopping to grab coffee. I'm happy to grab you something. What would you like? Oh, no, no, good. No, just tell me your order. I'll take care of it. It's such a like cool moment to create a lasting impression. So I heard that. I'm like, I would do that every time if I was.
I'm happy if I just have an 8-hour window to wait for somebody to arrive. If they called me with coffee,
that's it. What if you're coming to someone's house? I mean, that's it. And he had another great line. He said, he goes, we have an expression called pet the dog. He goes, most people in our space show up, like, it's all about me. Here's the offer. Here's the pitch. And here's the quote and accept it. He goes, no. He goes, pet the dog. He goes, what do you mean by that? He goes, find something about their house to compliment them on. Yeah. Right? If they have a dog, literally pet the dog.
I was going to say, if it's a dog, then that's an easy win.
That's an easy one. But find something to compliment them on is the point, which I loved. All right. So I'm coming back to the plan. Deal of the week. This is the Instagram story. You can see here, we also, as always, will give you sort of a link to the Canva link on this one. Very easy for you to copy and paste that. Also, you'll notice on this one here, we include the actual Gemini prompt because this is a big ask we got. So how do you create this post here? You can literally copy and paste this exact text here, and you could drop that into Gemini. We use Gemini for images and social media. We use Claude for sales letters and PDFs and market research. And we use ChatGPT primarily for copywriting and sometimes research. But Gemini, we have a nano banana prompt. That's a phrase, right, Lee? We got a nano banana prompt that you could use for the deal of the week. All right. So deal of the week, that's the Instagram story. We have the deal of the week email. Again, similar concept. Hey, this is the very best deal in our area. Here's the information about this home. And if you want to get more information, let us know. And by the way, Lee, I was looking at the data of this earlier today.
Uh-huh.
because we now actually in the chat, you got to let me know how many of you just want us to automate your email marketing for you. Let me know in the chat. Like, give me a thumbs up if you want us to automate your email marketing for you. Because one of the things what we've been doing is we rolled out better email. And Rob, we got you. Lee will follow up with you on that. Like we rolled out better email and we are automating the deal of the week and the email of the week. And like Rob is saying, definitely, maybe. I
Definitely
love you,
maybe.
Rob.
He wants
We
it to go.
appreciate you, Rob. It's so we've been automating the deal of the week and the email of the week. We'll cover that at the end of today's session. But regardless, the deal of the week is such an important part of doing that consistently. And I'm telling you right now, if you just do the math on this, this is one of the easiest and fastest ways to get like hundreds of high intent leads added to your CRM every single month. And when I say added to your CRM, I'm saying people that actually are probably in your CRM that you wake up, that you engage, that you go from cold to warm because of this. All right, so that's the deal of the week. The next day,
Jimmy, one quick thing. Peggy had a great question.
sure.
She referenced the fact that there's not a Canva link in that particular deal of the week. Do you in that Instagram? Do you want to tackle that super quick?
Yeah, and I misspoke earlier. Normally, we include a Canva link when it's like, let's say, like a non-complex image, if you will.
Right.
But because this actual one
It's
is
round.
pretty detailed, and this would be pretty hard to recreate because what you'll see there is it actually has curvature around the cup,
Right.
which is pretty dang hard to recreate within Canva. So for these more complex, hyper realistic types of campaigns, we're going to use Nano Banana or AI to do that. And and the beauty is you can see this is literally a prompt, by the way, Peggy, that's like you could just copy and paste and go, and it
Right.
will work. We battle tested that. So great call out, Lee. All right, so email of the week. This is a great value based email. So subject line: what sellers need to know right now. Again, every subject line that we write, I'll pull up so you can see this. Every subject line that we write, we try to think about, is this going to create high intent opportunities for us? So the subject line being what sellers need to know right now is actually like, oh, this is only someone who's interested in potentially selling is going to open that email. So this is where like I'm okay, Lee. If I send this to 1,000 people and I get a 10% open rate, I'm very
Right.
much okay with that.
Yep.
Like in this case, I'm very much okay with that because I just know now I know I got 100 people that I now should be prospecting. And so the other thing that we do, and you can see here, is just saw this news on Redfin. Home buyers are canceling deals at the highest rate on record. So by the way, they probably saw that too. And so we wanted to create a story around this. Hey, before we start spiraling, let's slow down and step back. Redfin's economists predict, there's two forces at play. Houses are still expensive, and there's simply more homes to choose from. When buyers have more options, they're willing to walk away if a home feels overpriced, needs work, or doesn't quite match their needs. This isn't a market for let's list high and see what happens. It's a market for knowing the buyers. You can still get the price you want. You just need to know the right market intelligence and the pricing strategy. I'll keep breaking down what's actually happening so you can make smart, confident new moves. Now, this email, we spent like 3 hours writing this email. And there's a lot that's embedded in this email. The first thing is, you guys know my number one sales advice of 2025. It's not, I'm just following up. I'm just checking in. My number one sales advice from 2025, and you guys can drop in the chat, is bring something new. So this is new data that we're bringing to the consumer that they may have seen. My other advice to you that you hear me say over and over again is control the narrative or somebody else will. In this case, every single article we read about the fact that buyers were backing out was doom and gloom and the market's crashing. We wanted to provide a counter position to that, saying, no, actually, yes, there is a higher rate. And by the way, the rate's like up like 10%. It's not up 1,000%.
Right.
But we wanted to sort of speak to the underlying issue here. The underlying issue is sellers are listing their properties for too high in this market. And so rather than basically say, oh, this is a big problem and this is not an issue, let's get to the fundamental issue, which is
Right.
sellers thinking it's 2021, they can just go high and get a house, get an offer and sell it. I mean, we are no longer in that kind of, crazy day where people are buying houses sight unseen. And so I love this email because this is just a value-based email. No major CTA. Of course, you can see here we do have a PS here, which is national headlines are one piece of the picture. Our market tells a different story. If you still have unanswered questions, reply to email. I read every one. And so we still have a softer a CTA after the PS, but the goal of this is getting a bunch of people to open up that email and give something of value, bring something new. Now, as I transition into Wednesday, this is going to be Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. And I'm telling you guys right now, I promise you, if you follow my lead here, this is where the magic happens. Is you got to send the email on Monday. You got to send the email on Tuesday. Okay? And then you've got to follow up with text messages on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All we're trying to do here is have more conversations. When I built the 100K and 100-day program with Tom Ferry, which generated over $20 billion in sales in like the last 2 or 3 cohorts we've run this thing through now. I mean, it's the largest, most successful kind of marketing experiment in real estate history. Well, like the one thing that we learned was conversations equals closings. In fact, I think the number effectively was about 11 conversations equals 1 closing. You can't expect the consumer to read these emails and just come banging down your door. It will happen occasionally when you strike gold, but that's not we're not gonna play defense. We're gonna play offense here.
They're probably not going to call you 11 times. So,
That's right, Lee. So the first one, we kind of broke it up into 2 buckets for you. We have the text of the week for what I would refer to as prospects, people you have not met, and the text of the week for your people that you do know that you have a relationship with, your sphere, your clients. So I'll go over the first one, which is our sales script of the week. This is what I would use for Power Hour. I'll pull up so you can see this. Hey, Lee, it's Jimmy. We haven't met yet, but I've been working with a lot of homeowners in Auburn. Been getting a fair amount of should I wait for spring calls lately, and I figured I'd reach out. Have you been thinking about timing at all, or are you not in the market right now? And this is a text message that is, we do a couple things that are really subtle here with this, which is number one, we just sent 2 emails, one about a deal, one about what's happening with sellers today. So anyone who opens up those emails, I know there's some intent there. They're interested in real estate. The second thing I do in this text is I'm saying, hey, I know we haven't met yet. And this is a technique that we call destroy the objection. I don't know who you are. I don't know what company you're with. I don't know what value you offer. I'm not sure I even want to share information with you. Destroy the objection up front. So by simply saying, hey, I know we haven't met yet, but I work with a lot of homeowners insert their area. So the area could be the area they serve, but if you even have more data about them in your profile, like maybe they signed up for a listing alerts on your website, you could basically include that area. I've been getting a fair amount of should I wait for spring calls lately, and I figured I'd reach out. Now you'll notice, this is subtly, but you'll hear me say a lot of this. When we're doing sales text messages, one of the things that we do is and this is important, we're intentionally imperfect. And I'm going to butcher this, and someone's got to help me out in the chat here, and I'm super embarrassed to even say this. I'm not even going to try to say the word, but there's this craft, this Japanese term. I think it's called, I'm going to go for it. It's like kanjutsu, I believe it is. Someone will help me in the chat. Where the pottery will break, and instead of basically fixing it, they fill in the breaks with gold. Okay. Someone will save me for myself in the chat right now, but they fill in the cracks with gold. And what they do is they make the bowl or the pottery just looks more beautiful.
yes.
Because it has the gold in the cracks as opposed to just trying to cover up the cracks. I heard that story and I'm like, that is exactly what we try to do with our prospecting. We want to be intentionally imperfect. So instead of being grammatically correct every time, listen, we don't want to misspell words, but instead of saying, I've been getting a lot of phone calls about this. No, been getting just text like you would normally text.
Right.
So there's some formality, but there's also intentional imperfections, which will drive some of my people who are like English majors crazy on the call. But this is how people communicate in your text outreach. So, and the other thing I like to do, Lee, is, and everyone knows this, but you've heard me say this before: make a big step, a small step. I normally don't ask either or questions when I'm following up, but in this case, I just want to sort of get a really quick, easy yes or no from them. And then I could take that in any different direction. Hey, like, are you not in the market right now? And then they might say, no, I'm not in the market right now. Oh yeah, no problem. What
Right.
would cause it? What would cause you? I'm just like, just curious. What would
Right.
change that? What would need to happen to change that? Right?
Well, Jimmy, you obviously know this. I think you coached me around it many, many years ago. Like, still, this is the just shut up point. Like, have you thinking about moving? Well,
Hmm.
no, we're not now, but when the kids get out of school, like a lot of people will give you, if
Way
you can
more
get their
information.
guard down, they'll give you more information. You just have to let them.
Thank you, Sandra, which is Kintsugi. Kintsugi. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Sandra, you gotta tell me if I'm pronouncing that right. I mean, it's exactly what we try to do with these campaigns. So then if I go to the text for your clients, because again, I've sent an email to my database, I've sent an email to my prospects. I want to text my clients. Hey Lee, I'm getting a lot of calls about blank. Just curious about how are you thinking about timing it all right now? So this one's much more to the point. Hey Lee, I'm getting a lot of calls about should I wait for the spring calls lately?
Right.
And let me read this again. I'll read it a little slower. Hey Lee, I'm getting a lot of should I wait for spring calls lately? Just curious, are you thinking about timing it all right now? That's it. I mean, it's literally two lines, boom, out the door. So any of your clients who opened up the email of the week, I'm just sending a quick text to them. And all I'm trying to do is send a big email to a big list, get a get a few people to open that email, which becomes a smaller list, and then text the people who opened up to create appointments. And that email sales funnel is fundamental to what we coach at Listing Leads. Doing this every week requires you, this is important, it requires you to have new content every week. We can't text your clients the same stuff or email them the same stuff. We can't say, here's your home value,
Hey,
here's
it's
new
a
listing
buyer's
alerts.
market.
I mean, like, bring something new. All right, so moving on. And by the way, if you got questions, let us know in the chat. Leah, any questions worth answering before I move on?
I think we're good. I think they're all tackled.
Okay. And did I get the pronunciation correctly? Is it Kint Suji?
Kintsugi or Suji. Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay. Someone help me in the chat. Someone's like, just Jimmy, just move on,
We
please.
can't we can't phonetically type it out for you. So
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thanks, Sandra. Okay. So now we've done the email, we've done the text. Now we're moving on to the building up your database part of it. And again, I would recommend Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, power houring. If you have 100 people who open up the email, send 10 to 15 texts per day, all the way until through Saturday. All right. So next one, which is the IG poll price reduction. So I'm going to show this to you because this is beautiful. We did a great job with the design of this, this is a story, which is make a list of all of the price reductions in your area in the last 7 days. So I mean, this is just super powerful. You could get the data from your MLS. You could export it from maybe your CRM or your website tool may have this, but get a list of all the homes that have had a price reductions. So Lee and let's say Southern New Hampshire, we've had 75 price reductions in Southern New Hampshire. That's the first story, right? And you can see here, it's just like they sort of fade. You can see a few of them, but you can't see all of them. Then the next option is want me to send you the full list. Yes, please send it. And so I'm using this Instagram story to basically create some urgency and some like teasing around this idea. And then the second story is the CTA, the lead poll.
yep.
I'm a huge fan. And by the way, you'll see this is actually a Canva template. So you guys can just grab this on Canva, super easy. But I'm a huge fan of using the market data to generate leads, whether that's deal of the week, whether that's recent sales, price reductions, foreclosures. Use market data to get more leads, to build your audience. So we're a big fan of using Instagram stories. The DMs is where the conversations happen. So we want to create more of those in our business. Go ahead, Lee. Anything
Oh
else to
no,
add?
no. I think it's great, and I think again, I just I love the consistency of it. I hope people feel and see that this is literally touching a piece of it every day
Yeah.
to build the habit of consistency, like we talk about.
Yeah, Robin asked a question. What service providers can we use for texting so our cell numbers don't get hit with spam label? So generally speaking, Robin, if you're doing kind of one-off text messages and you're kind of keeping it to like 10 to 15 per day, I mean, that's very unlikely you're going to get hit with spam. You can monitor it, of course, but it's I mean that would be very challenging. There are a bunch of them out there, like Text Betty's one I've heard of. There's another few that integrate with Follow Up Boss really well that I'm going to forget the name of. I would look into. We've used in the past. we have used services like uh, most of them are built on Twilio. Uh,
Right.
if we want to make a note, if we want to make a note, Bethany, we'll put a list of like text providers. There's one that I used before that I found pretty easy, which was Easy Texting, Easy Texting
Mm,
as a mass texting tool. Uh, the challenge with mass texting is if you're doing mass texting, oftentimes you need double opt-in.
right.
Whereas if you're doing one-to-one, that's not necessarily the case. If someone's engaged with you, they're on your database, like you can follow up with them. Uh, and so I'd be thoughtful about mass
Well,
text.
that's why that's why that architecture started to go away, is that it's essentially, unless they've opted in and a lot of things have happened and you're GDPR compliant and all those things, you don't want to be mass texting people. So,
That's right. And a lot of CRMs will provide texting as part of it. Follow Boss, Lofty,
yeah,
Sierra. I mean, they'll have texting in there. So I'm not, I'd recommend using your native texting tools if possible.
yeah,
But again, I'm aiming for like 10 to 15 per day, mixing in clients as well as prospects. Okay.
right.
In the chat, let me know right now. Just put a big W in the chat. Is getting more business from YouTube important to you in 2025? W in the chat if it is. Like, let
I
us
went
know.
first.
Is it important? Are you trying to get more business from YouTube? Because one of the things that I know to be true, and you're going to see this from me in the month of February as well as March, is I'm making a huge commitment to building my following on YouTube this year. I've got 50,000 followers on Instagram that I've built over the years. Instagram's great. Many of you actually let me know in the chat, like, where did you first hear about me or listing leads? Was it Instagram? Was it email? Was it YouTube? Was it in-person live event? Like, let me know in the chat, where did you first hear about myself, Jimmy, um, or through like the brand. So a lot of Tom Ferry. Yep. So
Nice.
Tom Ferry events,
Jimmy
very cool.
Burgess.
Tom will appreciate that. Love that, David. 100K in town, David. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Look at Tom Ferry. Okay, Tom. Yeah, okay, Tom. I appreciate it. IG. Yep. Love it. So what's cool is, and thank you, Maureen. Yeah, Chris and I used to do a show called The Water Cooler. So what's really powerful is one of the things that I know to be true is that the people that I've developed the best relationship with, who feel like they know me the most, they have usually watched me on YouTube. They usually have watched me on YouTube for a while, or they engage with me some brand. Like, people follow me on social media. I have, like, I wouldn't call them superficial relationships, but they are like, it's kind of the first time they're aware of me. But if, like, I get someone who comes to me events like, oh, Jimmy, I love your stuff, it's so amazing. Almost every time they have listened to a podcast or they watch me on a video.
Right.
It wasn't a short form thing. And so I'm a big believer in investing really aggressively in this. As a reminder, within listing leads, we actually organize all of the best YouTube videos in real estate that you can basically rip off and duplicate. I mean, we have the largest and best, highest quality library of YouTube videos that we update every single week. Topics, thumbnails, you can actually check them out. We'll actually give you the transcripts. Here's where the hook is, the CTA, the video length, all of that. It's all right there for you. It's amazing. Well, every week we go one step further, which is on Fridays, we create a video of the week. We typically will grab a video from the library. Should you buy a home in 26 or wait? What most buyers get wrong. So this particular video by Jeb Smith ended up getting around 12,000 views. Now, he's got 12,000 views on this video that just went live. I mean, this is an example of a video like, okay, this is actually a very good outlier for this particular creator. And so we include the show flow, we include the hook, we include the Canva template, we include the video description and the hashtags. Of course, the content, I'll just pull up so you can see this. Of course, the content itself, as an example, is going to be specific to your area. So what you could do, Lee, I want to talk about execution for you for a second. What I would do
Yep.
is I would literally take this script and then I would upload my MLS data, and I'd say, using the MLS data and this script I provided you, create for me the YouTube script for this week's video. And so all these places where, like, you would customize the information, because you want to have custom information, right? You want to have information that's relevant for your area. Like, you want to market where it matters. Like, how, just in the chat, let me know. Let me know in the chat. And by the way, Mia, I mean, that's a very simple fix for us. Mia, just reach out to
I
Lee.
got it. Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
got
Lee.
it.
Appreciate you. We'll square away. Um, when you go in there, like take the MLS data and then absolutely use that to create this particular script. We give you the script, you just need the data. Like how important in the chat, let us know how important is local content versus national content for your sellers and your buyers? Like, which one do they really want? Do they want, let me know in the chat right now, like local content, or do they want like national content? Okay. So you can just see here, Trista, very important. Local, local, local. Lisa, local, local, hyper local. Erica. Okay. Let me be super clear about this. We've given you the exact angle. We've given you the exact script flow to follow. We've given you a Canva template to create the actual script that you would throw up on a teleprompter app. Like right in front of me, Lee, like what I'm looking at right now, is I have a teleprompter. I can
Yep.
see you, I can see myself. If I don't have a teleprompter, I'm looking down like this.
Yep.
You can see the difference. And so, of course, you could use like My Body Pantano, like I software that will fix all of that. But like, okay, you could get the script, you could put it into a teleprompter app like this, okay? And you could be like, all right, hey, welcome to this week's update on what's happening in Auburn, New Hampshire. This week we saw 17 different price reductions. The highest one reduced their price by $35,000. I'm just reading off a script, but because it's right in front of me, I'm obviously not reading a script right now. Like it feels more, I can use my hand
Yeah.
gestures. I could be more dialed in. I'm not trying to remember what the heck to say and keeping my notes available like
Right.
that. So I'm just a huge fan of this. So like, just to be clear, if I come back to share my screen for the video of the week on Friday, every week we're going to have a video of the week because you guys have told us you want to be bigger on YouTube. You want to create more video content. So listing leads is about removing the friction to help you get results. That's why we have that video. Take your MLS data, throw it into Claude with the script, and you have a perfectly updated script that you can use to create your own viral videos on YouTube. So on that note, Lee, this is this week's campaign kickoff. We always keep, this is a fast session. We always try to keep it at 30 minutes or less, right? We're a little bit over because I was rambling about Japanese pottery for about 10 minutes.
Oh, it's all
We always
good.
try to keep it at 30 minutes or
It's a good
less.
lesson.
Okay. I mentioned Better Email. We have a bunch of people who join Better Email who are part of the community. We're going to send you over an invite. We're doing a live training on this Wednesday. So anyone
Two
who's
o'clock.
2 o'clock on Wednesday, we're doing a live training on Better Email, which is a new product that we just released, which is an add-on, but it helps you automate the email marketing and gives you a tool to actually send out your broadcast emails. We are in the early beta phases of this. We are so absolutely committed to making this an amazing product. So bear with us here as we'll work through some of the challenges here. But Better Email we're incredibly proud of the fact that we brought this to market. It's an incredible solution to solve a really important problem, which is you have people in your database who are looking to hire an agent, and we want you to be that person. And the way to do that is through Better Email Marketing. So Lee will make sure we get the email out to you guys. You'll get that, and I will see many of you on Tuesday. If we don't see you on Wednesday at 2 p.m. If I don't see you on Wednesday, I will see you back here next Monday for campaign kickoff. Thanks so much for being a part of today's session, and let's get to work.